Hello and welcome to the series breakdown of the Twins and Brewers. Um, so I guess let's get all going. Game one was Coleman Crow versus Joe Ryan, pitcher I was really hoping that the Brewers would miss with their series against the Twins, but no, unfortunately they did not. So game one, Brewers call up Coleman Crow to make his second career start after his first one in Miami, but the Brewers jump on the board early with a Jackson Chourio first pitch double that leads to a run scoring single by William Contreras. Crow works 5 scoreless after that. In the bottom of the sixth, Twins would get on the board versus Aaron Ashby. Or actually, technically against Crow, but Ashby was the one that ended up giving up the run after he came in, but it was charged to Crow. But it wouldn't. And I was like, it would not be long before the Brewers then scored back. Is in the top of the eighth. The Brewers would go after an interference call with Chourio trying to get back to the base at third base. Royce Lewis putting his foot right in front of the bag, so that's obstruction. He is awarded home plate and the game tying run. They would later on go on to score again after Jake Bauers lines into right field, and the Brewers win a score of 3-2 after Uribe gets his 5th hold of the year and McGill gets his 5th save of the year. Great to see those two getting back into it. Game one was going to be challenged because I knew Joe Ryan was going to be difficult for the Brewers. He's a good pitcher, so what were you expecting? Coleman Crow was not what I was expecting to see for game one, but it was kind of nice to give him another opportunity, even though I think we sent him down straight afterwards. Uribe McGill, awesome to see there. Ashby's used almost every day. He's going to give up some runs and some hits every so often. It feels like the Twins kind of had pinned him a little bit. I don't know, or was seeing the ball a bit more. Hitting's contagious. It's all it really comes down to. Hitting is contagious, and sometimes you forget about that. Ashby was not also put in the greatest spot of all time. He came in with, I believe, nobody out and runners on the corners, if I'm not mistaken. So getting a double play and then getting the next guy out, I think that's a pretty good result for Ashby. Ashby also got the win. I forgot about that. And of course, win number 8 for Ashby on the year. But ultimately, the takeaways for this game, especially, was McGill and Uribe. They've been good, but have struggled. I don't know. Recently, I don't know. They're good, but there's just times where it's just like, man, they just blow saves, and you're just like, oh, I feel suck. It's just they're fine. I have full confidence that they're gonna continue to be fine, but you got to give them opportunity. You got to give them that the 8th and 9th inning, and they proved it against the Twins here. Not that the Twins are anything crazy, especially without Byron Buxton in the lineup, but still some good hitters. Still some good hitters in this. So, yep, Brewers won a score of 3-2 in game one. Game two was kind of more of the same, in all honesty, but this time the Twins get on the board with a Trevor Lawrence homer to right field. With Logan Henderson on the bump today as he continues to stay up in the majors and kind of fill up the rotation. Hopefully until Priester gets back or Woodruff, or I'm not really sure what the plan is for the lineup is going forward. But yeah, it's after that, it's like the Brewers would score almost immediately right after that with a fielder's choice by Rengifo that would score Terang. Get back to a 1-1 score. It wouldn't be till the 6th where Chourio launches his first homer of the year. Great to see Chourio getting some power. He's been getting a lot of doubles, a lot of balls hit off the wall, and I think he finally hit that home run stroke with that pitch. So it was really good to see. Great defense overall, great pitching. It was a 2-man game, actually, between Henderson going 5 and then Patrick going 4. Henderson felt like he was struggling a bit with his command at some points in the game. I think at one point he had bases loaded and he was 1 or nobody out and managed to work out of it. So That was huge. I mean, he had 7 strikeouts, so he was working. He was working. And then Chad Patrick coming in for a 4-inning save. I thought for sure we would see either McGill or Uribe, but Murph trusted him for the rest of the game, and he was correct. So Patrick worked that, got his first career save. That was pretty cool. I mean, main takeaways is that it was a pitcher's duel. That the free lip or whatever. I don't know how to say his name. I believe that's how they said it on the broadcast. Was good. The Brewers continue to struggle against lefties. Not overly concerning in my mind. A few hits from here, as like as like Sanchez drew a walk, I believe, and Perkins drew a walk, but for the most part, it's like bottom line, I kind of didn't do a whole lot that game. Fine, I guess. I mean, it was good enough to win. But I mean, our pitching was shutting down just as much as Twins were, so good for there. Rengifo batting fifth, whatever. Kind of interesting. Like, I don't know how to feel about that, but Murph's always kind of had this I don't know, I'm gonna feel it out, I'm gonna feel the day out type thing. And obviously I think he's still kind of really figuring out he needs to work the lineup when it comes to against lefties to really get some good results. And in the end, it just comes down to guys needing to hit. It's like, sometimes you always forget that. So yeah, Brewers win a score 2-1. Another 1-run game. Pitching was great. Hitting did enough. That's all you need to do. Game 3, the captain returns to the lineup. Christian Yelich, after coming back after his groin injury, or I forget it was groin or hamstring or whatever, comes back because he came back after that for the one game, and then it was reported that he was having back issues. He was having back soreness. So Yelich has been out of the lineup since then. Returns to lineup. Great sign for the Brewers. Lineup looks as it was intended. Robert Gasser on the mound. That's pretty cool. I love Gasser. I remember seeing him last year, or was it not last year? I don't know, a couple years ago. And he was really good. Fortunately, he struggled in the first inning. He only gave up the 1 run. The 1 run in the first inning, which was big considering it could have been a lot more. He loaded up the bases. Feel like he was really struggling with his command. But overall, he got out of the first inning, down only 1-0. Brewers would score right after score in the top of the second with his Sal Frelick double that would score Bowers all the way from first. So that was really hit down into the right field corner, and Bowers got a good jump on it. So able to score on that. Score would stay that until Cody Clemens would hit a double to Churio. I believe it was the one. Yeah, it was basically it was kind of a little league inside the Parker home run. I couldn't remember exactly what it was, so I had to watch the video real fast. But yeah, it was like a double down the line, and then it was not a great throw from Ortiz, and then because of the brick wall behind home plate, it kind of went into the Twins dugout, and he was awarded home plate as a result of that. So it was a double, scored a double, and then an error on Ortiz. So Brewers are down 3-1, but not for long as Garrett Mitchell would launch his second home run of the year. Good to see him getting a bit more contact. I've kind of been whatever with Mitchell as of recent, especially. So it's like nice to see that. And then the very next inning, Christian Yelich would hit his second home run of the year. Great to see the captain hitting long balls or whatever, and they would tie up the ball game, but that would not be for long as Ryan Jeffers would hit a home run in the next half inning, and then Caratini would follow up another one in a couple innings later after a sac fly from a Luke Keeschel triple that Churio almost caught. He was so close to making that catch, and that was a hell of a catch had he made it. So it's one of those moments where, yeah, it sucks that it went that way or whatever, and it's like it very easily could have been Churio could have made an amazing play, and there would have been no one in third, and they wouldn't have scored the extra run. So, and the Brewers would try and make a comeback here in the ninth to get a couple guys on base. Jake Bowers would hit a hard one to right field that could not be handled by the first baseman, and score Contreras from third from third, but unfortunately, that's all they wrote as Sal Frelick strikes out, or I think he popped out to end the game. Twins win 5-4 on game 3. Game 3. Gasser struggled in his return start from a bunch of injuries and everything like that. First inning, he really labored. He kind of settled in after a few innings after that, but he would give up the double. The other one was not charged to him as it was a unearned run. So he only gave up 2 earned runs. Overall, 3 runs in total. Grant Anderson comes in and unfortunately gives up the home run that would break the Camel's back to Ryan Jeffers with a spinner that just did not do anything in the middle of the zone. And Jeffers, being one of the better Twins hitters, did not miss it. So, DL Hall comes in, works a scoreless inning in a third or whatever, walks a guy, but for the most part. And then Woodford kept his inning in the 9th, sort of. Fortunately, he did give up that run in the 8th. But I'm not really blaming it on the Woodford. I'm not even blaming it on Chourio or whatever. I mean, yeah, he gave up the hard contact, but it's like, if had Perkins been in there potentially, or maybe Mitchell, I think Perkins is probably more likely that I think he would have made that play. Maybe even if Chourio wasn't shaded so much to the right and like he was, or if Chourio was even in left, maybe he could have run that down from left field. But unfortunately, we had Bowers out there in left at the time, because we pinched hit for Mitchell. Vaughn stayed in, played first, moved Bowers over to left. When you're behind in the lineup, or behind in the game, you want your best bats in the lineup, even if it costs a little bit of defense. It was just unfortunate that was the run that really ended up hurting them, because Bowers did end up singling and would have ended up tying the game had that run not scored in the 8th. That's baseball, though. You tried. Chourio gave his best effort. It was in his glove. It just didn't survive the ground. He hit the ball. He hit the ground hard, and the ball just popped out of his glove. Bowers, thinking that he probably had the ball, didn't even. It happened so fast. You're jumping over Chourio to make sure you're not hitting him. He's like, yeah, he could have grabbed the ball. Chourio could have grabbed the ball. He probably thought he had it in his glove. He didn't even realize it was out of his glove until afterwards. So unfortunate one. The bigger story for that game was that the Brewers were, 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position after being like the 3rd best team in hits. It's like, yeah, right, like, hits with runners in scoring position. That's a bigger concern. Brewers had opportunities to really break this game open, did not do so. Put up ones in a lot of innings. Needed to put up the crooked number. Weren't able to do so. But a little bit of show of power, that's a good sign. If Chourio is back if Yelich is back, can stop bothering him and he can stay in the lineup and keep producing, I think that'll be great. But overall, good series with the Twins. Pitching was still great, even if Gasser and Crow kind of struggled. Gasser more specifically. Crow was fine. I think he just got into a point in the game where he was like, just kind of like losing his command, throwing too many pitches. I still think he had a great outing. 5 innings, 1 earned run. Gasser, 4 innings, 2 earned runs. 3 in total with the error. Couple walks, 3 strikeouts on 3 hits. You also hit 2 batters, if I'm not mistaken. The sweeper, I think, or slider. Was a little why I think that Gasser was struggling a bit with his command. Maybe it was a bit nerves, kind of being back into the majors after a while, but it's okay. With that, like I said, good series with the Twins. Took 2 out of 3 at Twins. A lot to take away with this. Obviously, Yelich hitting a homer, Mitchell hitting a homer. I think the greater impact of this series kind of showed off is that big bats are back. Chourio is back or whatever, and he's making an impact at the top of the lineup. Turang continues to be Turang. I mean, we as Brewer fans have known how good Turang has been, so far this year and past years. The WBC really opened up everyone's eyes to how good Turang has been. I feel like there was a lot of there's a lot of spotlight. He played second base almost every game for Team USA during the WBC. So it was really cool. Contreras continues to, we need his bat in there. Get Andrew Vaughn going. I mean, once we get some of these guys going or whatever, get them in midseason form. Churio, I mean, like I said, he was hitting balls really hard into the gap. Really hard over the center fielder or whatever. Nothing was just getting over that wall, and then he finally got over that wall in game 2. So I think that'll be a good sign for Churio going forward. So making some good contact, putting some good hard swings on the ball. I'm not really worried about pitching. Bullpen's been really good, despite some yips from McGill and Uribe and Zerpa, but unfortunately Zerpa's done for the year. Other than that, I mean, Tall, Ashby, yeah, he gave up the 1 run, but he's put in a crap situation. So you can't really blame him for getting a ground ball in that time. That's kind of what I think was intended to do. I think Murph and the Brewers would talk about it, how that's a good result for them. Overall, in game 3 is really the one that was kind of disappointing because the Brewers had so many opportunities. They had 10 hits, only got 4 runs, and 2 of those runs were from solo home runs from Mitchell and Yelich. So Brewers had opportunities in multiple innings to try and make some runs happen. Did not do so. That really sucked. Yeah, Brewers were 1 for 14 with runners in scoring position. We left 11 on base. And that doesn't even include walks. Ortiz drew 3 walks and hit a double. So there's that. Biggest takeaway, I mean, the series and so far this year, I think my biggest takeaway is overall is that Ortiz is still struggling. His at-bats have looked better as of recent, so I'm going to give him a little bit of a leeway here. Rengifo was on a bit of a heater at one point, and he's come up with some pretty good hits at points this year. He was really struggling to start the year. Third base continues to be kind of an enigma between Hamilton and Rengifo, and then Hamilton's kind of been going back and forth between shortstop when days that Ortiz isn't playing, and third base when Rengifo isn't playing. So in the end, it's like, I don't know. The shortstop and third base is going to continue to be an issue, I think, until the Brewers finally pull the trigger on either Pratt, Jet Williams, or potentially trade. I don't know what they would get in a trade or what they would want to give up. I mean, I feel like any team that would be trading with the Brewers would try and get some of these young talents that Brewers obviously want to keep around. I don't want to speculate on trade talk as of right now because it's not really clear on who is available, what's available, or what's even out there type thing. And knowing this Brewers team, it's like we're not expecting big trades or whatever. It's like I've heard people talking on Reddit and just social media and stuff like that. It's like, oh, the Brewers should trade for Yordan Alvarez or whatever, and I go, too injury prone, pretty much an all-time designated hitter. With Yelich already having back issues, I'm like, we don't want to have him playing the field. We're not, and I was like, and with the way that Alvarez has been injury prone too, I don't want him playing the field. I'd rather just have him for his bat, which means that he's going to be DHing, and that means Yelich would be playing left field. You'd have to move Churio over to center and have Frelick stay out and right, which is fine. We did that kind of last year when Mitchell went down or whatever, and you had Churio playing center a lot of the times. But he just doesn't fit, and they're just not. The Astros are going to ask way too much for Alvarez. So I'm not even going to continue on this thread. I mean, the bullpen is super good. Like it is super good. It's hard to say do we need a bullpen arm? Do we even need really a starting arm? It's like we have a bunch of starters like Drowan, Coleman Crow, Gasser. I assume Gasser is going to get another start at some point. I doubt it'll be in the next couple series. I really think that Gasser's probably going to be sent back down to AAA. And they'll bring up somebody, whether that's, maybe if Priester is available or whatever. I'm not really sure what the Brewers' thought process is for, the next couple series. I mean, you got at Cubs and back home against the Dodgers. Tough. That's tough. But before we move on to the future series, the upcoming series with the Cubs, I want to talk a bit more about guys. Jake Bauers continues to impress me. He has looked so good this season, and it's hard not to keep his bat in there as opposed to Vaughn. That means that probably Bauers is going to have to be playing a bit of left. Cherry will probably move over to center for at times and have Vaughn in there at first. I know Vaughn's been kind of only playing against lefties, and then Bauers gets the sit then and stuff like that. And then Bauers, and it's just like Bauers he's played most games. Now, I wouldn't say every game, but most games where Vaughn's just kind of trying to still get back into the rhythm. Like, I think he's still under like 10 games or something like that at this point. I could be wrong. How many games? Last 7. Played 11 games. So, played 11 games at this point. So, and I love. Look, Andrew Vaughn, I think for a lot of us Brewer fans, captured our hearts as of last year. I want to see him continue to do well. It's just hard to fit him in the lineup that is there. Like I said, if in the end Trio's going to have to play a bit of center field and Bauers plays left, then I think that's what we're going to have to do. So that Vaughn can play first, and then we can have Yelich DH. Obviously, when Yelich was hurt, we were having Vaughn DH or Sanchez, depending on lefty righties matchup type thing. So, I'd like to see Vaughn played with a bit more consistency, but obviously I'm not Murph, so we'll see what he has in mind or whatever. Bauers, I feel like he's just so good. He's been hard to take out of the lineup. Contreras continues to hit. He had two more hits in the last game. I think he had a hit in every game. Yeah, he had at least one hit in every game. And I believe a couple RBIs in majority of times, at least one in the first. I know that much. Yep. Nothing in the second and nothing in the third. But he did end up scoring, I think, a run or two. Is that? I mean, he keeps getting on base. I mean, not to mention all the work that he does behind the plate, especially with these young pitchers. So, yeah. Hamilton, Ortiz, Rengifo, kind of just like need you to guys pick it up a little bit. Obviously, like I said, Ortiz hitting a little bit better as of recent. Hamilton, I mean, he's so fast. The threat of dropping down a bunt is always there. Rengifo just needs to hit with some consistency. He hits with no pop, and no, it's just it's hard to try and continue to see him play out third. As good as his defense can be at third base, it's like just need a bit more offense from Rengifo. I didn't realize his numbers were that bad. 203 average with a 536 OPS. Oof. Didn't realize it was that rough. There's just no slug. I mean, he's not hitting for any power either. Their base is going to be, like I said, an enigma until Brewers finally decide to pull the plug, or not pull the plug. I mean, kind of pull the plug, but rip off the bandage on either getting Williams or Pratt up there. I feel like Pratt's the next closest, but I really don't know how either of them are doing in AAA. I know Pratt's been doing better as of recent, but what does that tell you? So we'll see. But for now, team's looking good. 8 games over 500. You're second in the division. Second division, only a game and a half back of the Cubs, which we are playing this weekend. So hey, we are at Wrigley Field. So we'll take a quick peek at the matchups. I'm filming this just before Game 1 of the Cubs series between the Brewers and Cubs. We got Brandon Sproat versus Shota Imanaga on the mound. Imanaga's always been tough. He's a lefty, so most likely we'll see a lot of our lefties out of the lineup. See if Yelich is in there. We'll see how that back's feeling again. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'd have to assume that it'll probably be similar to it. It's like it's you can't take Turang out of the lineup. Obviously, there's no one else to really play second base. You're gonna have Hamilton play. No, you're gonna have Turang play. So most likely the lineup is gonna be for game one will be Churio, uh, Turang, Contreras, depending on whether or not Yelich is playing. Yelich, maybe Gary Sanchez DHing, maybe Andrew Vaughn. Most likely Vaughn will just end up playing first base because Bowers will probably come in later in the game once Imanaga's out of the game and Cubs don't have their lefties available potentially in a spot. It's like probably, and then Ortiz, Rengifo probably at third base, and then most likely center field will be Perkins and probably Frelick as the other lefty. So pretty much you only gonna have two lefties in there. I mean, like, I mean, you could put Mitchell in there, but I don't know. It's just the way that Frelick seems to hit lefties a bit better than Mitchell does. So most likely that's probably what's going to happen. So the good pitching matchup there. Sproat has looked a lot better as recent in his recent starts. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Sproat has in store against division rivals. Maybe we'll be a bit more amped up knowing this is a division rival for the Brewers. And I mean, this series could determine who's going to be like, if the Cubs end up sweeping the Brewers, I mean, they take like a 4.5 game lead and really bury the Brewers and have to take the low climb up. I'm really hoping that won't be the case. I'm hoping the Brewers can take 2 out of 3. First game is going to be tough with Sproat versus Imanaga. Game 2 will be Mizorowski versus Ben Brown. We got Miz back on the mound at Wrigley Field. I don't know, did he pitch at Wrigley at all last year? I don't think he did. I don't remember him doing so. So my guess is this probably be his first time at Wrigley pitching for him. I mean, Miz has looked phenomenal. He's looked so good. So we'll see how he does against this good Cubs lineup here. So yeah. So there. Ben Brown, it looks like his numbers have been pretty good. And if I remember correctly, played in 14 games. So he's played in 14 games. So they're looking like it's going to be an opener. So he started 2 games, so he is an opener. So they already have an opener out there. I don't know the Cubs rotation enough. I also know it's been a little injury prone as of late. So and it looks like he's actually been making starts as of recent. Now I'm looking at it. His last 2 games he started. Okay. So I guess they've kind of made him a starter with all the bullpen or all the injuries the Cubs have had. Like Boyd and what was the other game? I don't know. Yeah, I really can't think of it for some reason. So either way, Miz versus Ben Brown is going to be one to watch. Miz hopefully will just fan them all, so that'd be nice. Then game 3 will be Kyle Harrison versus Edward Cabrera. Edward Cabrera being the big acquisition that the Cubs got from the Marlins for Owen Casey and stuff like that. Looks like he's been doing pretty good for them. Got a 3-1 record with a 4.06 ERA. 9 games pitched. Okay, yes, fine. Luckily, it's a right-hander. Ben Brown's a right-hander, so Harrison's has been super good for the Brewers. So I'm hoping he can continue his success. And obviously, being a lefty means that he might keep some of those left-handed bats out of the lineup, or at least a little bit off kilter with PCA and Michael Busch. I know Busch has been having a bit of a rough time this year. I don't honestly know what his stats are at this point, though. Has it been better as of late, or has it kind of still been kind of whatever? It's been better as of late, I guess. This is the last like 15 been like a couple homers, 15 hits, 300 average. So yeah, he's been batting better. Last 7 games, looking like a lot less though. Only 1 home runs, 5 hits. PS of 387. So kind of cooling down a little bit. Obviously, Busch doesn't hit lefties all that well. forget, is this the first game back for the Cubs back at Wrigley after a road stretch? Do they still have that win streak at Wrigley? Oh boy, if that's the case. So let's hope that's not the case. So we can take at least 2 out of 3 here and feel pretty confident about it. McGill and Uribe are going to have to be on point. I have a feeling that there was going to be some close games, some hard fought games. This will be a great series to watch for not only just Brewer fans or Cubs fans, but baseball in general. So, yeah, the offense has just got to show up. Defense, or not defense, the runner hits and runners in scoring positions got to show up and be kind of hit or miss on that. Going on, so forth, so on and so forth. If I remember correctly, the Cubs have a few lefty bullpen arms to kind of neutralize some lefties, but man, some of the Brewers hitters have been facing so many lefties. Like Bowers has been facing so many lefties and having some good success against lefties too. That it's like same thing with like Terang and like a little bit with Frelick, but not so much. Frelick's just been having a rough year in essence. I still believe in him, but man, he's just like I haven't actually looked at Frelick's numbers much at all this year, so I want to dare. 225 average. OPS was 614. Ugh, for you. Sal, I love you, man, but come on. Got to pick it up a little bit here. Ugh. It's hard to look at Sal's numbers and just go like, oh yeah, we just need like results of like he had last year, and it's like give him some time, and he's kind of proven that one, his defense is his arm, his defense out in right field is worth it. So, and I'm not saying that it isn't worth it. It's just really hard to watch sometimes when it's just like. Frelick's just been struggling. I mean, it's like I said for Game 3 against the Twins. I mean, he came up with the game-tying run. I mean, so did Yelich. I can't blame this all on Frelick. It's like Yelich also came up with that opportunity to do some damage, ended up striking out. So it's like Bowers did his job and moved on, and then Frelick with the game on the line just didn't come through, and it was just like, oh. Even though he had a pretty good game or whatever, had 2 hits, a double, a single, a couple stolen bases, like he had a good game. It's just when we really needed him, it just. Not to mention, I didn't think it was the greatest at bat from him either. It's like took a high strike, didn't challenge it. You had 2 challenges, just challenge it, man. I don't know. I think the Brewers, when it comes to the ABI system, I really don't. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but it's like. Feels like that they don't really trust anyone outside of like Contreras or Sanchez to really make calls when it comes to the ABS system. And I go, that's so silly. I don't know. Like, I feel like I always thought had a pretty good eye. Like, I think he knows when a strike is high. Like, maybe he thought it clipped the top of the zone. I don't know. To me, it's just like, I'd challenge that. If you have any indication thinking that that it's high when you got 2 challenges, or maybe you only had 1 at the time. Game's on the line though, man. You got to use it. Use it. Don't wait. Don't save it for nothing. Use it. I don't know. Fuck. I don't know. It is what it is though. So. Like, you just need to get Frelick going. Mitchell, I mean, it was nice to see him homer in that last game, but man, it just like, I feel like he started out the year super good and had a great series against the Royals, but he is really not done a whole lot that's recent. He hasn't had like kind of games like he's on pace to, he's got 40 games, the second most he's played in 40 games, the second most games he's ever played in. Basically in the majors, and it's like, I mean, he's got 700 OPS, but his average is 223. Not a lot of slug, not a lot of. It's like his OPS or OBP is a lot higher than his average, so he's drawing a ton of walks. walks. 22 walks is a good amount of walks, but the 54 strikeouts. Come on, man. And I feel I would love to know how many of those are like. I mean, I would love to know how many of those are like strikeout looking too. It's like I feel like every time I watch him, he just strikes out looking. I don't know. Overall, this isn't me trying to like bash on these guys or whatever. I mean, like the hitting's hard and stuff like that, especially when you're in such a lefty-filled lineup. So of course, teams are going to bring in lefties to face a bunch of you or whatever, and it's like putting you in that kind of situation can be tough. Can be tough. Some guys, can hit lefties or whatever, or to some success, and other guys can't. Turang just showed he can, but Mitchell has shown that it's like, yeah, he has some success, but not a lot. So in the end, it's like we're gonna need some right-handed bats at some point. Whether or not, and if we're gonna make trades, it's like, a team gonna want to take Mitchell? I don't know. Like, could we trade Tyler Black since he had such a good, it's like the problem with Black is that he had such a good time up in the majors before he was sent back down. His bats looked good and stuff like that. I can't knock him for that. In past years, I was just like, man, his bat looks uncompetitive, stuff like that. This year they didn't. This year he produced and did pretty well. He just plays the same positions as Bowers, and Bowers has been better. It's like he's first base, left field. Can't have both those guys. You need to have somebody or whatever. And that is like he was sent down when Vaughn came back. So like maybe some team would be interested in Tyler Black. I don't know. Like in the end, it's like I don't know what trades you can make, or does Chourio move over to just play center field? For a while there. I don't know. I personally like Chourio and left more. But if you need to have him play center field, I think he can. I think he can. He's shown he can. So overall, I don't know. Something's got to give with this lineup. Whether it's bringing up guys like not Luis Lara. I want to say it's Luis Pena, right? The guy currently in AAA that's an outfielder for the Brewers. I believe so. It's like if I go, I said Luis Pena. Luis Lara is he the guy in AAA or is he the guy in AA? It is Luis Lara. Okay. I was looking is like Luis Lara. I mean, what was it? 43 games played, 7 homers, a 333 average OBP, and a 948 OPS. Like what in the what? I didn't realize it was that good. It'd be time. He's a right-handed bat too, isn't he? Switch hitter. Oh, it's even better. He's even better. He's a switch hitter. Holy, 21 years old switch hitter with 7 homers, 22 RBIs, and 30 walks to 25 strikeouts. Bruh. I think it's time to start calling up some of these young guys here. Now, I'll leave that up to the Brewers to decide, but like, man, we really is like we need some more production from the bottom of the lineup. Bottom of the lineup, it's like Mitchell's fine, but we could be so much. It could be so much better when you look at it. I mean, dude, like I'm playing like the game that majority of the fans are playing here right now. Where you're looking at this lineup, you're looking at the infield and everything like that, and you sit here going just like guys that are ready for or are pretty close to being ready for the majors or whatever. Like guys like Pratt, Jet Williams, and stuff like that. You have Pratt play short. you have Pratt playing short, Jet Williams playing third, or something like that, or maybe even center field or whatever type of thing. You have Luis Lara in there to play outfield or whatever, center field, left field, whatever, wherever he plays. I don't know exactly what position he plays, and I already closed the tab. Good job, me. And stuff like that. You have Ortiz for kind of in there for defensive purposes. I mean, Pratt's already in there for defensive purposes either as well, but it's like, I don't know how good Williams is defensively, but you can have Ortiz play third, I guess. I don't know. Ortiz is kind of the odd man out or whatever. It's like David Hamilton as like Hamilton for there for pinch hits or whatever, and no man, it's looking real good. And sitting here going just like, man, I feel like this team would be so much better if we could just pull some triggers on these young guys or whatever. But I get it. You don't want to start the service time. The Brewers are still winning regardless of that. We're like we're in fine spot, second in the division. Whatever, we'll keep winning. Pitching's been phenomenal. It's only gotten better. We're only gonna get better, assuming Priester can figure out his command that he's been having trouble with. If his minor league rehab starts. So that's I think has been more concerning for the Brewers than anything else. It's like, did Harrison just take all of the juice that Priester had last year? Is it maybe just like he's not up with the majors and confidence is a little lower at the moment because of that, and it's just like he's giving up runs? Maybe. Who knows? Type thing. Is it something more? I know this. They said he suffered a setback, so maybe that was the case. I don't know. But either way, it's like whether you're getting Woodruff back, somewhat soon-ish. I think they said that he's going to put the next step for Woodruff was to throw extended bullpen, which I think is going to happen while Brewers are at Wrigley. And I believe I remember hearing that. I remember hearing that that they weren't sure if when Woodruff was going to make rehab starts. Bit of a concern. I'm just glad that shoulder isn't as bad as it seemed when he went down with that when he was removed from that game with the dead arm, as they called it. I thought that was his career. I was just like, man, I love Woody. I don't want to see him go out like that. No way. No one wants to go out like that. Yep. Got it. Series versus the Cubs though, coming up. The transition to that, and then you got Dodgers after that. So that will be interesting. I believe currently, aren't people saying that if as long as Miz makes his next schedule start after the one against the Cubs, it'd be the final game versus the Dodgers on Sunday versus Ohtani, which would be hell of a game to watch. So, as long as Miz doesn't cramp up, that's all I'm gonna say there. It's like the guy. It's like he was gonna go for 8 in this last game, but then he cramped up and they laughed and smiled and whatever. Wasn't anything to be concerned about, but these cramps, man. I would love to have seen Mizrowski against the Padres go 8 innings. Oh my God, would have been amazing. I was convinced watching that Padres game that Miz was not coming out for the 8th. And then they were going to commercial and Miz was coming back out there. I'm like, holy crap. Miz is coming out for an 8th. Let's go. And then we come back from commercial and he's cramping. Lovely. Give us all a heart attack. I mean, his fastball's electric. That's all I'm going to say right there. I could keep going on forever, but in summation, obviously, you can see right here on my left side that the NL standings are right there. Only game and a half back of the Cubs, despite the 26-18, because the Brewers played so much less games than the Cubs. But only game and a half back. So, just saying, you take 2 out of 3 against Cubs, you're half game up on them. So yeah, that's I think that's gonna be it for this. I don't know. It's like a recap. Looking forward to the next series that the Brewers kind of have. I'm gonna try and do this. I think a bit more consistent than I have in the past or past. I haven't done this at all. But I love talking baseball so much, whether it's Brewers baseball or just baseball in general. I think I'm going to focus on the Brewers because obviously they're my favorite team, clearly. And they're so much fun to watch. But might end up being more baseball in general. But yeah, I was like, I'm going to try and do these like every series. That I just kind of do like a little series recap, kind of looking forward to. It's a little bit of takeaways. I watch almost every game. And so on and so forth. So I'm gonna try and do this going forward for the rest of this 2026 season, and then we'll figure out what to do for the off season. If there's anything I want to do for the off season, or just kind of go on a hey, I'll see you next season type thing, or if there's any news that kind of breaks out or whatever. So, but we'll get to that bridge when we meet there, because we got a long season ahead of us still. Until then, let's go get them Cubbies. I'll see you next time.